Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to another episode of the Smart Flip with me and Matt. If you guys don't know what this is the Phone Flippers podcast, the largest one in the world right now. We help people start, grow, and scale their phone flipping businesses and turn them into buyback businesses.
Hmm.
Take it a little bit more seriously as a business owner because you can turn this thing into a full-time income. Both me and Matt have done that, along with Aaron and quite a few others that work with us. So with that being said, we're going to be getting started today talking a little bit about that buyback business, where we think the industry is headed. But before we do that, if you guys do want to check out a couple of resources that we have, you can do that in the description below. You can check out my ebook. You can also get the ebook for free on episode 11 of the Smart Flip podcast. You can listen to it and learn some stuff. I do have another book that'll be coming out later on. Um, I'm not going to drop the name yet, but I think you guys will like it. And then yeah, with that being said, let's kickstart this thing, man. Let's rock and
Let's
roll.
go.
All right.
Well, um, well, Chris, I'm for those that are watching and listening along with us today, appreciate all of you guys. I'm going to be interviewing Chris, or we're going to kind of approach this from an interview style. So, um, Chris, I know that for your business personally, and then also for the way that we train and help clients or students to run their business now has changed. Uh, I would say dramatically. I think that's a fair word within the last 4 to 6 weeks. But I know that for you, this change was happening even before then, perhaps internally, before you officially
Yeah.
kind of reinvented your business a little bit. And I know we're going to talk about that here today. So my question for you is, what um, what do you feel about the old method of flipping phones and where this industry is headed? And how do you feel like that is influencing this industry and the market right now?
Um, I mean, I think a lot of it is like I keep seeing people out there that, they're like phone flipping isn't what it used to be, and this, that, and just saying things like that. And it's
Hmm.
not. I mean, the old ways are dead. Traditional phone flipping is dead. I had a guy the other day reach out and he's like, "Yeah, man, I tried posting in Facebook groups the other day and nothing." And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, it doesn't work anymore. They make you pay for that stuff, you know?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Like platforms change, things change. A lot of people go back into maybe a course they bought quite a few years ago, which is
Yeah.
something I see pretty often, and they're like, it doesn't work anymore. And I'm like, that's because it's been like 6 years,
Yeah.
you know? Things change in that time. Platforms level up. They change what things look like. Like Facebook looks much different than it did. It, or Facebook looks much different now than it did 6 years ago.
Yeah.
A lot different.
Yeah.
Um, and I think, if you don't change with the times, you're gonna get left behind.
Hmm.
Something that it's kind of funny. I was thinking about it at the gym the other day while I was working out. I'm like, I have consistently been ahead on the marketing and on everything by about 2 years ahead of everybody. Um,
Wow.
I see the things happening. Like for example, when I was working with Dave, I'm like, Dave, I think because Dave kind of pioneered Facebook ads a little bit for this industry. He built the first real course on it.
Yeah. Very true. Very true.
I perfected it in
Yeah.
terms of like being able to do it effectively and at scale.
Yeah.
Um, and but I remember talking with him and I was like, look, like the Craigslist, the Facebook groups, all of this is dying.
Yeah.
Like as soon as we started getting blocked on Facebook Marketplace, I started noticing that change. And I was like, we need to make some real adjustments here, or we are going to get left behind.
Yeah.
And a lot of those people, they just stayed there. And
Hmm.
and I still see it. People are just stuck because it's familiar to them, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's fine, but like you're not gonna make any you're not going to make any real adjustments trying to do the same thing over and over again, right? That's the definition of insanity, right? Like
It is.
if you just keep trying to do the same, like I still see people even in my Facebook group, just posting their price lists and just things like that. And like,
Yeah.
they're just doing things the old fashioned way.
Yeah.
And the old fashioned way just doesn't, I'm not going to say it doesn't work, but
Hmm.
it is, I would have to say about 5% at, the effectiveness is like 5% of what it used to be. Right.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, you know me, I'm not a big ads guy,
Yeah.
um, for obvious reasons. And if people understood how I run my business like Chris does, um, ads would probably benefit my business, but I don't necessarily need them. And even I know that, this aspect of the industry has changed just from my interactions with social media and the market itself. Also, just people, clients, the introduction of AI, um, adjustments in prices. Yeah, because you've been doing this since when people were still buying iPhone 8s, and it was like,
iPhone
sweet, an
5,
iPhone
iPhone
8,
6, dude. Like
6? Oh,
5 and
nice.
6, yeah.
Wow.
So this is kind of funny. I had a story pop up on my feed. If for you guys
Okay.
watching this, this was 2 years ago.
Yeah, share it with us.
Hold on, let me go back. So this it's only one phone, and and this is over $2,000 in sales. Then you got Steve Lee here, who's been in the program, I guess, now for 2 years, and then
Wow.
there's some more stuff there. Um, so these are, and this was a whole bunch of phones that I bought from a wholesaler and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This was 2 years ago, right? So I've been talking about like, and that kind of just goes back to what I said. Like, I'm usually 2 years ahead of people on the marketing part of things.
Right. Yeah.
And and I really learned that with Google Ads, um, because there's a lot of people out there that I'm just gonna say it, like, people just copy my stuff. Like, if you guys
Yeah.
see people that are out there, I launched the very first Facebook ads business when it comes to phone flipping.
Hmm.
That was me. Google Ads, I pioneered it. Anybody else you guys see out there, they copied it. All right, they copied it. If they're selling it, that's because they copied me. I'm just gonna say that. That stuff was very difficult to get up and rolling, so it wasn't easy. And you know, I think I learned that I was a front runner when I cracked Google Ads,
Yeah.
because after that point, you saw multiple other people doing the same thing. Uh,
Yeah.
and that's fine. That's going to happen. And I'm not worried about that. You know,
Yeah.
when you're consistently 2 years ahead of people,
Yeah.
they have a hard time catching up. So, and I
That,
think we've done that with by saying traditional phone flipping is dead. We are pioneering the way forward for people to make money,
yeah.
in a different way, in a different model, and in a model that's, in my opinion, much more consistent. Because
Yeah.
this game only used to be a side hustle, right? It wasn't
That's,
viewed as a business model, right?
yeah.
And now you see many more people. I mean, there's actual chains of stores now that do this. That
Yeah.
GameStop has really ramped it up, and stuff like that. And then there's a couple others. I don't know what the original question was.
No, the original question was just to talk about, what was the influence there to kind of help you see, all right, this is where the industry is headed, and then adjust your business from being, what it was, reselling phones and Apple products to becoming more of a proper buyback business, which I would say that is what you have now. You changed your business name to, would you tell us what you changed it to?
Yeah, it's called We Buy. I
Yeah, because, and I think there's a lot of reasons. There's
didn't want to put a
diversity
limit on
there. There's diversity there in the market that
it.
is far more abundant than what it was before. And obviously, you know that this is the future. Like that's why we're here today sharing this with you guys is because this really is the future. What do you want to say? What do you want to say about that in regards to where you think this is like leading the industry or where you think this is like helping business owners to scale their business?
Um, well, they're able to scale, number one, through upselling and being more valuable to their customers, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Because if you only buy an iPhone and you tell your customers that you only buy an iPhone, they're only going to sell you iPhones. And
Mhm.
how often are they going to sell you an iPhone?
Mhm.
Not that often, right? People upgrade maybe every 6 months, every year, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and if AT&T offers trade-in value that's higher than your offer, well, you're out of luck, you know?
That's true. Yeah.
So when you're able to, let's say I'll buy your iPhone, but I'll also buy your MacBook, your iPad, your smartwatch, and your PS5,
Hmm.
you become much more valuable to that customer, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Um, and that's just a reality that people need to like understand is like when you apply more value to yourself by the things that you can purchase from people, they're going to come to you more frequently. That's just kind of the way things work.
Hmm.
People start looking, and I say this all the time. You want to become somebody's ATM, right?
Hmm.
If you
Yeah.
can become that for somebody, whenever they need money and maybe they're struggling, they think about you. You know, if you can put yourself in that position, you
Hmm.
put yourself you're offering a service to people. We normally pay more than pawn shops. We normally pay more than eco ATM, and we also are able to sell typically at a premium because we know how to sell. We are offering a really good service here,
Hmm.
like that in between type of model where you're not like getting screwed,
Hmm.
but you're also getting a good amount of fair market value, and we're being honest with our customers too. I try
Hmm.
to tell my customers I try to make $80 on every deal, like 80 to 80 or more,
Yeah.
and they're usually pretty cool with that. Um, and what I've noticed about those customers is they like to come back, you
Yeah, they
know,
do.
because I'm honest with them, and they know that I need to make money. They know that I'm not in this to just do it, like that doesn't make any sense, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm not just gonna buy your item for the top dollar. I'm like, you can go sell it on eBay yourself. I tell people that.
True.
Like, look, I want you to get the most for your device. You can trade it into AT&T. You can do whatever you want to do. I'm just here if you need fast cash, right? That's
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
So the rebrand for WeBuy is I think it's gonna, over the years, I think it'll encompass a lot more things because I see the industry expanding a lot because this industry will never die as long as the currency doesn't die. um,
Yeah, right. Oh
uh,
man.
our students they're upselling people with test strips now and like all sorts of things. Um,
Hmm.
so I mean that was one of the reasons for rebranding was I didn't want to uh, be able to turn away a lot of things, but there's
Hmm.
also a lot of other flipping niches out there
Yeah.
that the students will probably expand to. I'll probably stay mostly within electronics,
Yeah.
but I mean, you see this already. It's like there's some people that only flip game consoles now in the broker,
Truly.
like
Yeah.
an accelerator, and they focus on high ROI deals.
Yep.
That's great. You know, less flips, more profit. Great. Let's rock and
Hey,
roll. You know,
I'm here for it.
if you're making 50 to 100% return on investment on every single flip, that's pretty freaking good, you know?
Yeah, that's pretty darn.
Um, so I mean, and I think we'll see a lot more of that as technology
Yeah.
evolves. The smart glasses are a thing now. Uh,
Yep.
I think later on you'll start seeing the VR headsets get smaller and smaller, and
Hmm.
they'll become pretty much more like glasses. And then, in 5 years, I can almost guarantee you guys will be flipping VR glasses and things like that more often than phones. You know, um, I,
Probably.
I personally believe that's what's coming down the road.
Yeah. Yeah. It's cool that within this industry you can be on the edge of where these other technologies are going because you don't have to be novel to invent anything fresh. All you got to do is be able to, understand where the value is and capitalize on that and ride that wave that Sony or Microsoft or
Yeah,
Apple or whoever else is bringing to the table. And I think that there's a certain genius to that approach within like the buyback business model because um, it's hard to come up with like original, authentic ideas. But and I say that because in part I know the labor that customizing and creating Google Ads was for you. Um, but in addition to that, that level of innovation was more about, okay, how do we create more leads within a system that appears to be failing, like Facebook,
Yep.
because interruption-based leads versus like intent-based leads like Google are almost night and day, and people who have used them know that much. Um, Sorry, this is really windy in Oklahoma, guys. So if my signal's a little choppy here for a second, it's just because we're braving the elements living in Tornado Alley.
Yep.
Um, yeah. So, Chris, I know that we get a lot of people that join up or like comment like, "Hey, what should I buy this for?" I still see that stuff a lot,
Yep.
and I get concerned when I see those types of folks because I'm thinking like, man, it feels like they're a little bit in the Stone Age. But I think one of the beautiful things about the buyback business model is there is such a broad diversity, and I think people don't even know. Like, I think people absolutely have no idea. Like, to the person who hears this and you're just flipping phones or you're just flipping phones and Apple products, like that's like one of seven continents, in a manner of speaking. Seriously, it really feels that way. It's like you're playing Risk and all you have is Europe. You have so much more opportunity. What you want is Australia. We know people who play Risk, but stay with my metaphor here, folks. What we're trying to help people understand is like there is a whole other world. And one of the cool things is I feel like in the community now there's a lot of, cross client sort of like teaching and people like
Oh yeah.
teaching people about the difference in products. So I don't know. With that being said, what would you say to your own personal journey? What's kind of been some of your own personal journey in expanding your business model by like expanding like what you buy? Like what do you feel like you were sort of like confined to? And then like when you start, what other items did you flip that then you said, I think there's a lot more here, and I'm only like scratching the surface.
Well, if I'm being real, I mean, David kind of pioneered this a little bit in the beginning because like he
Absolutely.
did
Yeah,
flip a lot of
absolutely.
phones, but he did
Yeah,
he did he did buy a lot of other things.
yeah,
So that's kind of where I got this a little bit from.
sure.
Was that, but he pioneered the term phone flipping, right? So that's what it became.
Yep,
Um, and I kind, we all stand on the shoulders of giants, right?
we do.
Um, so I think for me, one of the first items that where I ever really made like a ridiculous amount was actually it was funny enough, it was a PS4 Days of Play console that hadn't
Hmm.
that was broken.
Hmm.
And I offered the guy like $40 for it,
Hmm.
like back back then. And
This is what, like 2 years ago, maybe?
well, this is like maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago now.
Okay,
Still in
okay.
Pokemon. Um,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
and it flipped for like $220. And I was like, yo.
That's that that's an ROI right there, folks.
Yeah, I was like, huh, okay.
Huh.
So then I started running ads for PS4s. Um, and I used that one. I think it is still actually one of the best performing ads that I've ever had for PS4s.
Well,
Um,
that's cool. I mean, yeah, that's
the
rad.
days of play PS4 is cool. It looks good.
Yeah.
It
It
catches your
was,
attention.
yeah, it's still a good looking console for
Yeah,
sure.
I like it. I was
Yeah.
like, dang, this thing is cool. I remember looking it up while I was looking at it. Uh,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, dang, this thing is worth quite a bit.
Yeah.
Because it was limited edition. We know
Yep.
about the limited edition, ones.
Yep.
Um, so I remember flipping that and I was like, dang, okay. And then I don't usually like wait around for things. Like I immediately put up PS4 ads.
Yeah.
Um, and I started getting those in and um I mean that later on happened with cameras, that later on happened with I would just buy these other things And then I'd be like, wow, I made a good profit here. Bam, start some ads, you know? And
Hmm.
it just kind of evolved to that.
Hmm.
Um, and I just started making good money with it. And it was just kind of like, okay, cool, and then so I've been flipping more than phones for quite a while. Like people might not realize that. Like I've been doing a lot more than phones for quite a while now, especially in my local buyback business. I mean, I help
Yeah.
run a direct buying company and stuff now. I'm mostly the marketer for that now.
Hmm.
Obviously that's a long-term play, by the way. Sell us your phones and your, you know, iPads and smartwatches and stuff.
All the things, all of them.
And
Yeah.
Mercury Electronics, link below. Um, Contact Aaron, he'll help you out. Um,
Hey.
so, um, yeah, I mean, I've been flipping things outside of phones for a long time.
Yeah.
Um, and I keep seeing people, in and out of this business all the time.
Hmm.
And I think it's mostly due to the uncertainty of phones.
Hmm.
Um, so like people will come in, they'll find like their one quote unquote supplier or their plug or whatever, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And then those people disappear, and then this person's business burns to the ground. Like
Hmm.
I've seen that a lot of times now.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Yeah, man, I was getting all my phones from like one or two people," and I'm like, "That was your problem. Like you weren't marketing, you weren't getting more customers.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and
Yeah.
I tell them this too. And what happens is 2, 3 months later, they come back and they're like, "You were right." I'm like, "I've seen this, dude, many
Yeah.
times."
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, I see. Like I said, I've just been doing this part for a long time, um, and I plan on doing it for a longer time, just at a
Hmm.
higher level.
Hmm.
And we're going to teach a lot of other people how to do it.
Hmm.
Um, and if you guys want to be along for the ride, feel free. You know,
Heck yeah.
because we're buying a lot of things from you guys too. So that's our long term play. Is we want to buy a lot of stuff from our students. Want to help train our students, get them over $10,000 a month. Um, like, like, why would I need to train employees for my business when I got all these other flippers out here that we can help? Get them out of their job and things like that, and then they can just sell us devices. That's
Right.
my role now.
Yeah.
Like, so, and I'm going to step into that. I'm going to help a couple thousand people. And at the end of the day, that'll help me and Aaron and you and everybody.
Mhm.
So,
It will. Big time.
yeah.
Um,
But as far as my local buyback business, I mean, I get free leads from Google. So easy
yeah.
money for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I think one of the things I kind of hear in the language of what you're talking about is how these other spaces, these wells and reservoirs of supply kind of dry up over time. And the way a lot of people like fizzle out or age themselves out in this business is they just don't acquire or keep hunting for new ways to generate leads. And um, I think one of the great things is that you talk about consistently with students, and I think other people, is about how this isn't before this is about sales, before this is about leads, this is about conversations. Could you kind of personally just maybe like just touch on that just for a moment to kind of like help express how that has influenced your kind of personal business philosophy or way of like generating income?
Conversations in what way?
Conversations
Just
like connections.
conversations and like making money. Like,
Conversations and connections as far
oh,
as like the importance of those with getting like leads and sales.
oh yeah, okay. Well, I mean, if you I mean, in terms of buybacks, if you treat people like a human, they will sell to you more often,
Hmm.
right? Um, as far as communication goes, I think it's a skill set, right? Like
Hmm.
being able to communicate is a massive skill set that'll put you ahead of most people.
Hmm.
And I don't think a lot of people realize that. Like this, I mean, this award right here is all because of communication, right? Like
Hmm.
doing $1 million through a Facebook group. That's a lot. That's social conversation. A lot of them, like
Yeah.
thousands,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
but I don't think a lot of people realize like the more conversations you have it just makes you better. You get to see other sides of other people, and it builds your skill set. And you just put enough reps in, whether you're doing buybacks or you're doing like online sales or whatever. It doesn't really matter. Um, it's just kind of like if you do if you just have a lot of conversation, and that maybe that's something that a lot of people don't have, and maybe a lot of people just aren't having enough conversations to be able to build that skill set over time.
Hmm.
Me and Aaron talk about it a lot. Aaron has
Hmm.
been in over 50,000 negotiation conversations. That's a lot.
Ooh,
you know
that's a ton.
you get
Yeah.
good at it after a while,
Yeah.
right? You see patterns with people, you see certain
Yeah.
words that work, and once you start being able to delineate what works from what doesn't work, it gives you a massive edge.
Yeah.
And I think that's something a lot of people don't realize is like I've spent over $100,000 on Facebook advertising, maybe more actually, and collectively probably well over 500,000 on other people's accounts,
Wow.
creating conversations for people through
Yeah.
ads and things like that. Probably more than that now, but um, I think um, I think people, just based on that question, I think people just need to have more conversations. They'll make more money if they have more conversations. Like,
Right. And
so
I think that that is like that's a simplicity that I really like wanted for people to hear in our conversation between us today. But I think that feels oversimplified and really reductionistic to most people that are going to hear this going like,
yeah,
I just need to talk more.
yeah. Like you need to
That
connect more. You need to talk more.
that
Like,
feels dumb. Um,
so I really like what Spencer said this on a few podcasts back, and I really liked it, and I think it oversimplified it, but it made it make sense really fast, right? So he
yeah.
was talking about his city,
Uh-huh.
Colorado Springs, and he was like, there's 800,000 people in my area, but my CRM says that I've only talked to like 1,200. That I think that
Okay.
alone, and for those of you that don't know what a CRM is, that's a customer relationship management system, where it's resell deck, it keeps your leads. But
Hey.
he's only talked to 1,200 people out of 800,000, you know, and maybe 50,000 have actually seen that he actually exists, you know, like,
Yeah.
so it may sound oversimplified, but when you have 800,000 people in your area, or even 50,000, right? I mean, we got Alex Ross. We need to bring him on the podcast, by the way.
We
He's
do.
in a he's in a city of like 60,000 people,
Yeah.
and the dude he's talked to like half his city, and most of them are his customers.
To put this in perspective, everybody, 1,200 people out of 800,000 is 15% of 1%. Okay.
So
0.15%.
I think this really started hitting me whenever I started ads, and I remember I had two other people in my area that it was in Beaumont, Texas. It was a city of like 200,000 people,
Mhm.
and I remember I was like, these two guys are killing my business, and then I thought about it, and I was like, there's 200,000 people in this city.
Mhm.
That means there's 200,000 phones, like, and then on top of that, there's other electronics as well.
Yeah.
There's only three phone flippers in this area, and those two aren't even taking it seriously. You know, I was at that moment, I was just kind of like, bro, I'm my own limiting belief here. Like,
Yeah. That's
like I'm
fair.
limiting myself. Like if I just go out and talk to more people and tell them, hey, I'll buy your electronics for cash. I
Yeah.
still believe it's the greatest offer in the world. So I wanna tell a quick story here real fast. So this company that I got this award from, I actually worked for them for a little bit because I wanted to learn. I'm big on that. I will go into a company and learn alongside
Mhm.
the other stuff that I do. I got to see real estate offers. I got to see relationship offers. I got to see a lot of different offers that a lot of other people offer to other people. Because this is a coaching award. Um, and man, like I'll tell you, like I still to this day haven't seen an offer as good as I will give you cash for your stuff. It's all, hey, you need to give me cash and then I'll help you kind of stuff, you know? And I'm just like, it, it made me really think about this business. And I was like, it's the greatest offer in the world. I will give you cash, you know? And, I got people that reach out to me all the time and they're like, Chris, how do I like make more money? I'm like, have you called the people you gave cash to already?
Yeah.
Like, have you offered them more money?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I get couch flippers that reach out to me. I get test strip flippers that reach out to me. I get all these people that reach out to me, and I'm just
Yep.
like, have you, like with the couch flippers, I'm just like, do you ever ask if you can give them money when you're at their house? Like, same thing with the test strip guys, it's like, have
Yeah.
you, when you're buying this thing, do you ask if you can give them any more money to buy their phone? Like, and then same thing goes with the phone flippers. It's like, look, you're buying their phone, you might as well buy their PS4, their iPad, and their smartwatch,
Yep.
give them $500, instead of the, maybe 200 that you were going to originally give them. I think they'd
Yep.
like you a little bit more, you
Yep.
know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
think,
like oversimplification, right? Like
yeah.
talk to
I
more people.
mean, I think if people can really like take the complexity of like, how do I make a lot of money? Right? They're asking the wrong question. The question you're saying is just ask yourself, how can I talk to more people? Right? Like
Yep.
simplify this, guys, and hear what Chris is saying and put that into practice in your own. And you don't even need to join our course to like take action on that kind of
Nope.
stuff. I think it just for a lot of people is they are so fixated on the results and they stop thinking about like the minutia of this process. What's the next right thing? What's the next best step that I could do? Some of you guys need to pause this podcast right now and actually think what is the next best step you need to take before you start keep consuming all this content that potentially you're not taking action on already, right? Like it's such a habit to have all these calories for entrepreneurship, but very little action to do it. And I think the reason that you have students in the first place is because you were already that guy, right? You were out there doing the thing, and now people are messaging you on Facebook going like, yo, can you help explain this, break this down? Like it, I mean, you kind of fell into that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't realize that, honestly.
Well, I mean, I guess I kind of fell into it, but I mean, I like teaching. Like
Yeah.
I'm good at it. Um, and I don't know why. I like building systems. I like building stuff.
Yeah. It
I don't
is.
know
It's fun.
anybody else in this industry that likes building stuff more than I do. I mean, I built a Chrome extension in like 15 hours, like
Right.
just because I wanted to solve doing reach outs manually.
Yeah.
Like, how dumb is that? If you like really think like who else is going to do that? Like get so fixated on something like that, you know?
I know I didn't build a Chrome extension, and I remember when you messaged me on Facebook telling me you had done it.
Yeah, like I was
Yeah.
just like I was thinking about it myself the other day, but this is also a pattern that I see with myself, and I'm just gonna say it, not many people have it, right? Because new to a lot of people is scary, right?
Yeah.
I don't know why, but new for me is exciting,
Yeah. Totally.
very exciting.
Totally.
A lot of people gravitate towards what they know. I kind of gravitate towards what I don't know.
Yeah.
And I think that sets me apart. And then I also have the will to act upon it as well.
Hmm.
And there's not a lot of people um, that do that. I mean, I can name a select few. There's Hayden Howard, and there Aaron Goldstein.
Hmm.
I mean, Aaron's one of the best people I've ever worked with,
Hmm.
ever. And that's why, I'm part of Mercury Electronics is because um, if I ask Aaron to do something, it's done within hours. Like I'm not waiting a week for something
Hmm.
like that.
Yeah.
And you don't see that a lot.
Yeah.
Like people would be like, yeah, I'll get it to you next week. No, like with Aaron and myself, if somebody needs, I mean, Matt, whenever you ask something of me, how quick do you get it?
Quickly.
It's usually the same day, you
Yeah.
know? So, and I think a lot of people don't, they're not willing to test. Is I think what I'm trying to say here is like a
Mhm.
lot of people aren't willing to test and they'd rather just follow a proven path. But what you
Mhm.
guys don't realize is like the money is in the testing. You just
Mhm.
sometimes you have to go through 100 different versions to figure out what works, and that
Right.
is the part that is painful, um,
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
very painful. But you're paying to not step in the same holes,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
building Resale Hawk, the Chrome extension was difficult, you know.
Mhm.
Um, Building Resale Deck was difficult,
Right.
uh, but I think having the experience of doing it the right way manually made it a lot easier, you know.
Mhm.
I mean, the fact that you have your three ping method, I think
Mhm.
that's, it's a very powerful thing that can be automated. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I don't know what the original question was. I just kind of went on a tangent there.
Well, no, it was talking about the we were talking about coaching, and then we're also talking about like simplifying by,
Oh yeah,
just communicating and talking to more people and how that can grow business. And but I think so I think like as far as like scope for the future though, buyback. Um the words we haven't said but that you're hearing, guys, is diversify.
yep,
Like multiply yourself by multiplying what you can buy, and that way you won't have to continue to work as hard to just pound the pavement and find that same old product. Like if you're just thinking, oh, the well runs dry, guys, if you were to join Recelerator with Chris or Console Kings with myself, you're going to get access to my price sheets, which is going to introduce you to over 70 different varieties of consoles. Like that is a whole world of opportunity that I dare you to try to exhaust that because I just don't think that you can. Like, or beyond that, okay, so let's say you like to flip test strips. Okay, keep flipping your test strips.
yep.
But you know what? Go to a pawn shop and buy a fish finder and a console, and it's the same muscle. It's the same muscle. And I think that that's part of also what's being expressed and said here on this show for today is you've already a lot of these people have already developed the skill. I just don't think that they've thought about, oh, okay, I can color in this framework, I can color in this framework, I could paint all these canvases over here. I'm just like limiting myself to this one. And that's just massively like tunnel vision, folks. Like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Um, so, Chris, you got WeBuy. You're now we are in the process of coaching students to do buyback because old phone flipping is dead, and in a lot of ways,
Well,
it very
I
much
think we've
is.
been teaching it for a long time. I mean, let's be real.
Truly,
Like
yeah.
we've been helping people do that for a while at this point.
A few, a
Um,
few a few years before we've actually said, "Hey,
yeah,
we're teaching people a buyback method, not just a
yeah.
simplified phone flipping side hustle,"
I
like you
mean,
were
the thing
saying
is, guys,
at the
like
beginning.
these other phone flipping gurus, they'll start teaching this in about 2 years. I'm just gonna say that. I can almost guarantee it. They'll be like, "Hey, you need to start buying PlayStations, and you need to start buying this, and you need to start buying that." Like I said, we've consistently seen just because I push the envelope all the time on what's the next thing, what's the next thing, what's the next thing, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Um, like those other guys aren't willing to do that because I've just seen it, you know.
yeah.
Um, a lot of people won't go after what's new. I will always go after what's new,
Hmm.
right? Whenever VR glasses start going crazy, I'm gonna be there.
Hmm.
We're probably gonna start buying them, like, so
Yeah, yeah,
um
same, totally.
um so if you guys want to be 2 years ahead of the curve, you need to join Recelerator because that's where it's at.
Hmm.
Okay. Um, a lot of you guys may have been in other programs in the past and stuff like that. There's nothing quite like Recelerator. I'm just gonna be real. Like we've had so many people come from David's old program and a couple other
Hmm.
people. It's kind of funny. I actually logged into a flippers course the other day that I'd bought quite a few years back.
Yeah.
They are still selling the same course with the same tactics that was working 4 years ago.
Huh.
and they haven't changed anything. And I was like,
Oh,
whoa, people are still buying this? Like, and it's no, and honestly, I prefer people. Well, I hate it for the consumer because you guys are trying to learn. But guys,
yeah.
a lot of those people, I have to coach them a little bit because they've been burned by tactics that no longer work. And they
Yeah.
come to me and they're like, Chris, what's different about what you do? Because I bought this person's course, but it doesn't work anymore. So
Yeah.
like, what if I buy your course and stuff doesn't work? Guys, the
Yeah.
thing that's different about us is we're like active, like all the time. We keep things updated. I update stuff. I update the course like every 6 months
Yeah.
because I'm a little I'm a little crazy like that. Um, like I'm always thinking, I'm always taking notes on what needs to be. I literally have notes in the course live right now, being update needed. Like,
Yeah.
like you can go through the curriculum right now. It'll literally have it right next to it, update needed.
Yeah.
Um, and that's because I gotta, I'm a little aggressive on that because I think our recelerator students pay a premium, so they deserve
It's
a
fair.
premium program.
Yeah.
And they keep telling us that the community is the best part, and they eventually go through the curriculum. But the community is usually so good that they never go through the curriculum, which
It's
kind of
true
drives
though.
me a little cuckoo. But you know, I remember Kevin Price was saying it the other day. He's been with us for like what 2 years at this point.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I just started going through the curriculum. There's so much good stuff in there. I'm like over here about to lose my crap. Like
Yeah.
I was like, bro, you've been here for 2 years and you're just now going through the curriculum. He's like, resale deck's amazing. And I'm like, bro, come on. Like that's another thing too. Like if you guys want proof that I've been ahead of the game for a while, I built resale deck in 2020. 2020. Like that the first thing I ever created was automated follow-ups for myself.
Yeah.
And that changed the game. My students make free money all the time off of those follow-ups all the time. So if you want proof that I've been ahead of the game, there it is. Like resale
Yeah.
deck, resale hawk, the curriculum, all of it, the podcast. We got Matt. How long before somebody creates a phone flipping podcast? Like, let's take a guess.
I don't
Be
know,
long.
but it's not it's not too far off. But
Yeah.
we got a good thing between Aaron, yourself,
Hmm.
and me joining up. I think there's a great we're a triple threat. Watch out,
We
folks.
are. Yeah. We got an amazing
Uh
team.
but
We have an amazing team.
I wish people did kind of understand more so. If you knew Aaron, dude's a high quality human, incredibly skilled. Chris, incredibly skilled. Myself, very seasoned in the world of consoles and
And incredibly
VR.
skilled.
Yeah, and like people are getting like, I mean, you're getting programs and some good people. Uh, obviously, do me and Chris have a bias? Well, yeah, of course we do. But the reality is, I I had to piecemeal what I learned and then ultimately became self-taught through by taking a few courses here and there and then, filling in the gaps, as did you. Oops, I think I lost you guys.
Yeah. Well, the internet was unstable on my side, but I think I'm good now. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yep, yep, yep. But here's the thing is like there's not a lot of filling in the gaps that people have. Like you don't have to do a lot of like, let me figure this out. Like I've never had anybody in Recelerator, or honestly Console Kings for that matter go, I don't know what to do next. Right? The only reason they don't know what to do next is because they haven't looked at the curriculum, which tells them what to do next.
Yeah.
Um, so,
Well, I think
but yeah.
so. We had a student join a couple of weeks ago, or actually last week. Zechariah. Um,
Oh, oh, yeah.
and he, it was funny. like I did my call with him first because he wanted ads and things like that. He's already getting some Google leads in and stuff like that very quickly. We helped him build up his Google business quickly, got AI, replies on all of his reviews and all of that quickly. Um, and then he had his call with Aaron and Matt on the same day. And I reached out to him and I'm like, hey, bro, like,
Yeah.
how were your calls? He was like, dude, those guys know their stuff. Like, Aaron is incredibly good. He helped me close some deals that I thought were dead, and I was able to get some deals that from people that I thought I couldn't get any deals from. And then Matt is just he showed me a new world of consoles, and that's what we do. We teach people how to see more money, um, because it's out
Hmm.
there. Like you guys don't have the right lens to see them yet, but they're there.
Hmm.
What. And if you're
Yeah.
not there to get them, somebody else will be. Um, what's kind of funny now is we have to limit how many people are in which city based on Reaccelerator students because like nobody else can join
Hmm.
this in Vegas and nobody else can join that's in Tulsa. And there's a
Or
reason for it
Charlotte.
because both Aaron and Matt are in those cities. And I'm actually about to, in my area, I mean, Houston's big, but like, um,
It is.
yeah, but I live a little south of Houston. But I had somebody reach out the other day and was like, hey, can you start some ads up for me? And he was like 20 minutes from me. And I was like, ah. I was like, well,
Um, yeah.
if I was like, here's the deal. If you sell to me and Aaron, absolutely.
Right. Hey.
But
Hey.
you know,
Yeah.
I don't want to like because if you give somebody the skill set that Recelerator can give you, it
Uh-huh.
can actually create competition in your area because
Hmm.
there's not many people with that level of skill. And we've seen this
Right.
happen. We've seen people fight over deals a little bit. Of course, all the students are cool with each other, but
Right.
um, like when people are doing the same thing and they're taught the same skill set from the same place, and you guys will probably start seeing, you guys probably already do actually see my ads everywhere because people are using Reseller and stuff. I had
Yes.
somebody message me the other day. He was like, "Hey, are you in South Florida?" I'm like, "No." I'm like,
Oh,
somebody was using the video ads that I had in Resell Deck, and they were me. So
that's funny.
yeah.
Yeah.
um, I mean that's the stuff we see now. So,
Yeah.
but Matt's got to go pick up a deal. So, Matt, did you have like one last question for me on this topic?
Um, I don't I would like to ask this though. To simplify the bulk of this conversation, guys, and we've spent the last hour just talking about making this pivot and from, simply flipping one or two things or the limited range of stuff that maybe you've been selling before, and how that way is, dated into forming a buyback business. But if you had to simplify this into one, like the firmest, most pronounced, strong reason as to why people should begin to progress and move their model into more of a buyback approach or a buyback methodology, what what one firm statement or reason would you give them for why they should make that transition?
Um, if I were to give one statement on transitioning from just a phone flipping side hustle to a business,
Hmm.
I mean, if you want to grow and you want to grow faster, then you probably need to do it sooner than later because eventually
Hmm.
others are going to catch on.
Hmm.
Um, I think I think a lot of people don't succeed in this business because they don't, number one, they don't have the right. Actually, you know what? I do know what I would say. I would say get the right information. Um,
Right on.
and stop following the old patterns of people,
Uh-huh.
that did this years ago.
Uh-huh.
Because those patterns no longer work. I think I'm the only active YouTube channel right now with phone flipping, other than maybe Christian Cumrick or somebody like that.
Yeah.
I'm friends with those guys.
Yeah.
But I don't teach that base level phone flipping stuff, you know? I teach people how to grow and scale. That's what
Uh-huh.
I love to do. I'm not gonna drive around and teach you how to make $80 on one flip. Like I'm not gonna do that. Like that's not what I enjoy doing. So my thing would be get the right information and grow. Because
Hmm.
once you have the right information, you can grow relatively quickly.
Hmm.
Um, it's just you have to be, in that mindset, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
got to move from that phone flipper mindset to uh, a buyback mindset. I mean, I had a guy yesterday who's been in this business for 10 years. He's still driving around all day long, picking up phones,
Mm.
and he's the most he's ever made is like 8K.
Mm.
I was like, bro, 10 years? Like, you've been doing this longer than me. Like,
It's a long time.
and he's still driving around like 3, 4 hours a day picking devices up. And I'm just like, bro, there's an easier way to do this.
Yeah.
Like, a lot easier way. And he's like, yeah, I've seen your videos, but I don't think it'll work for me in my area. Everybody needs me to come to them. No, that's a mindset.
Yeah.
It's 100% a mindset.
It's true.
Um, I mean, Kevin Price, Spencer, all these guys, none of that. I mean, they don't really drive to people anymore. Sometimes it takes a little bit of a shift to make that stuff work, but get the right
Hmm.
information. Whether it's my channel or you want to actually like take things up a notch and get direct help, we can make that happen. So
Yeah.
we have a very proven track record. You actually look us up on Google, just type in Recelerator, and you'll see all the 5-star reviews.
There you go.
With that being said, guys, this has been another episode of the Smart Flip. Check the links below. If you guys want just in on consoles, we've been having a good amount of people actually do that lately. Um,
Yeah. It's
Join
true.
Console Kings. It's a great way to get started if you don't have a lot of capital. We just had one guy join Console Kings, and I just messaged him, Purnell, I think. Um, he made like $1,000 in profit his first month off consoles alone. Pretty cool, you know.
Oops. Helping
Oops.
people make money. Oops.
So check that out. But if you guys want a little bit more direct, you can see a video below
Yeah.
on Recelerator, what it all entails, and we basically set up everything besides your LLC. So yeah, if that's something you're interested in, let us know.
All right. Guys, appreciate you. Have a
Later,
good one,
guys.
everybody.
Bye.